The book of Jubilees chapter 7. And in the 7th week, in the first year, 13:17 a.m. thereof, in this Jubilee, Noah planted vines on the mountain on which the ark had rested, and named Lubar, one of the Ariat mountains, and they produced fruit in the 4th year, 13:20 a.m. And he, Noah, guarded their fruit and gathered it in this year in the 7th month. And he made vines therefrom and put it into a vessel and kept it until the 5th year, which was in 13:21 a.m., until the first day of the new moon of the 1st month. And he, Noah, celebrated with joy the day of this feast. And he, Noah, made a burnt sacrifice unto Yahuwah, 1 young ox and 1 ram and 7 sheep, each a year old, and a kid of the goats, that he might make an atonement thereby for himself and his sons. And Noah prepared the kid first, and placed some of its blood on the flesh that was on the altar which he had made, and all the fat he laid on the altar where he made the burnt sacrifice, and the ox and the ram and the sheep, and he laid all their flesh upon the altar. And Noah placed all their offering mingled with oil upon it, and afterwards he sprinkled wine on the fire which he had previously made on the altar. And Noah placed incense on the altar and caused a sweet savor to ascend acceptable before Yahuwah, his God, his Elohah. And Noah rejoiced and drank of this wine, and he had and his children with joy. And it was evening, and Noah went into his tent and was being drunkard. He lay down and slept, and was uncovered nakedness in his tent as he slept. And Ham saw Noah his father naked, and went forth and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem took his garment and arose, he and Japheth, and they placed the garment on their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the shame of their father, and their faces were backward. And Noah awoke from his sleep, and knew all that his younger son had done unto him. And he cursed Ham's younger son, Canaan, and enslaved as a servant shall he be unto his brethren. And Noah blessed Shem and said, Blessed be Yahuwah, Elohah of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Elohah Yahuwah shall enlarge Japheth, and Elohah Yahuwah shall dwell in the dwelling of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Ham knew that his father had cursed his younger son Canaan, and he was displeased that he had cursed his son, and he parted from his father, and he and his sons with him, Cush and Mizraim, and put in Canaan. And he built for himself a city, and called its name after the name of his wife, Tama'ak. Hack that name up, but we'll get to it. Now, precept to that is in Genesis 9:18 through 17. Precept and witness to the book of Jubilees, chapter 9:13 through 13. So here we go in Genesis. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan, his youngest son, at that time. These are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and uncovered the nakedness of their father Noah, and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew that his younger son had done unto him. And he cursed Canaan. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be Yahuwah, Elohah of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Elohim Yahuwah shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servants. Now continuing on back to the book of Jubilees. We're in chapter 7, now continuing to verse 14 through 19. And Japheth saw it and became envious of his brother, and he too built for himself a city, and he called it the name after the name of his wife, Adatanassus. And Shem dwelt with his father Noah, and he built the city close to his father on the mountain. And he too called its name after the name of his wife, Serakitelabab. And behold, these three cities are near Mount Lubar, Serakitelabab, fronting the mountain on east, and Naetalamaak on the south, and Adatasasis, these names, toward the west. And these are the sons of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arpachshad. This son was born 2 years after the flood, and Lud and Aram, the son of Japheth, Gomer and Magog, and Madiah and Javan, Tubal and Meshach and Tiras. These are the sons of Noah. Now the precept to sons of Noah in King James Version, chapter 10. Ooh, please forgive me for hacking up these names. Genesis chapter 10 in King James Version. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were born sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth are Gomer, Magog, Madiah, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphat, Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, Dadanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. And the sons of Ham were Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush were Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Raamah, and Septacha, Septeka. And the sons of Raamah, and Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahuwah, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before Yahuwah, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Asher, and builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calah, and Resen between Nineveh and Calah. The same is a great city. And Mizraim begat Ludin, and Ananim, and Lahabim, and Naphtuhamim, and Pethasim, and Kashalim, out whom came Philistine. And Caphtorim, and Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Gegashite, and the Hivite, and the Architite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon as thou comest to Gerar, and Gaza as goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. These names. And unto Shem also the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even unto him were children born. The children of Shem were Elam, Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. And the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. And Axphat, or Phaxad, begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, and in his days was the earth divided. And his brother name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Amadad, and Sheleph, and Hazamavat, and Jared, and Hadaram, and Uzal, and Dakla, and Obal, and Abamiel, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan, and their dwelling was from Misha as thou goest unto Saphar, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues in the land, and after their nations. These were the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations and their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. And another witness to the sons of Noah and their generations is also listed in the book of Asher, chapter 7. So here we go in the book of Asher, chapter 7, verse 1 through 22. And these are the names of the sons of Noah, Japheth, Ham, and Shem. And the children were born to them after the flood, for they have taken wives before the flood. These are the sons of Japheth: Gomer, Magog, Madiah, Javan, Tabal, Meshach, and Tarius, 7 sons. And the sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Rephathah, Tagamah. And the sons of Magog were Elishanaph, and Lubal. And the children of Madiah were Achan, Zelo, Shazani, and Lot. And the sons of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Chittim, and Dodanim. And the sons of Tabal were Ariphi, Kesed, and Taari. And the sons of Meshach were Dedan, Zaran, and Shabashini. And the sons of Taras were Beneb, Gera, Lupirion, and Gilak. These are the sons of Japheth according to the families, and their number in those days were about 460 men. And these were the sons of Ham: Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, Canaan, 4 sons. And sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sapta, Raama, Setaka. And the sons of Raama were Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Mitzrayim were Lud, Anam, Pathros, Kaslat, and Kaphtor. And the sons of Put were Gabal, Hadan, Bina, and Adan. And the sons of Canaan were Zidon, Heth, Amori, Girgashi, Havi, Aki, Sina, Aradi, Zamadi, and Chamadi. These are the sons of Ham according to their families, and their numbers in those days were about 730 men. And these are the sons of Shem: Elam, Ashur, Apakashad, Lud, and Aram, 5 sons. And the sons of Elam were Shushan, Makal, and Harmon. And the sons of Asher were Myras and Mokil. And the sons of Apakashad were Shelach, Anar, and Ashkol. And the sons of Lud were Pethor and Bazion. The sons of Aran were Uz, Chal, and Gather, and Mash. These are the sons of Shem according to their families, and their numbers in those days were about 300 men. These are the generations of Shem. Shem begat Aparshat, and Aparshat begat Shalak, and Shalak begat Eber, and to Eber were born 2 children. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the sons of men were divided, and in the latter days the earth was divided. And the name of the second was Yoktan, meaning that in his days the lives of the sons of men were diminished and lessened. These are the sons of Yoktan: Almadad, Shilab, Shazamava, Yarak, Hadaram, Ozel, Dekla, Obal, Abamiel, Sheba, Ophir, Havaliah, and Jobab. All these are the sons of Yoktan. And Peleg his brother begat Ying, and Ying begat Surag, and Surag begat Nahor, and Nahor begat Terah, and Terah was 38 years old, and he begat Haran and Nahor. And when Nimrod was 40 years old at the time, there was a war between his brethren and the children of Japheth, so that they were in the power of their enemies. Now continuing back to the book of Jubilees, chapter 7, 20 through 39. And in the 28th Jubilee, 1324 through 1372 a.m., Noah began to enjoin upon his sons of the ordinance and commandments, and all the judgments that he knew, and he exhorted his sons to observe righteousness and to cover the shame of their flesh and to bless their Creator and honor father and mother and love their neighbor and guard their souls from fornication and uncleanness and all iniquity. For owing to these three things came the flood upon the earth, namely owing to the fornication wherein the watchers against the law of their audience went a whoring after the daughters of men, and took themselves wives of which all they chose, and they made the beginning of uncleanness. And they begat sons, the Nephilim, and they were all unlike, and they devoured one another. And the giant slew the Nephil, and the Nephil slew the Eljo, and the Eljo mankind and one another, and one man another. And every one sold himself to work iniquity and to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with iniquity. And after this they sinned against the beasts, birds, and all moves of walk on the earth, and much blood was shed on the earth, and every imagination and desire of men imagined vanity and evil continually. And Yahuwah destroyed everything from off the face of the earth because of the wickedness of their deeds, and because of the blood which they had shed in the midst of the earth. He destroyed everything. And we saw left, I and you, my sons, and everything that entered with us into the ark. And behold, I see your works before me, that ye do not walk in righteousness. For in the path of destruction ye have begun to walk, and you are parting one from another, and are envious one of another. And so it comes that ye are not in harmony, my sons, each with his brother. For I see and behold, the demons have begun their seductions against you and against your children. And now I fear on your behalf that after my death ye will shed the blood of men upon the earth, and that ye too will be destroyed from the face of the earth. For whosoever sheddeth man's blood, and whosoever eateth the blood of any flesh, shall all be destroyed from the earth. And there shall not be left any man that eateth blood, or that sheddeth the blood of man on the earth, nor shall there be left to him any seed of, or descendants living under the heavens. For into Sheol shall they go, which is hell, in the depths of hell, in the grave. And into the place of condemnation shall they descend, and into the darkness of the deep shall they all be removed by a violent death. There shall be no blood seen upon you, or all the blood there shall be all the days in which ye have killed any beast or cattle or whatever flies upon the earth. And work ye a good work to your souls, be covering that which have been shed on the face of the earth. And ye shall not be like him who eats with blood, but guard yourself that none may eat blood before you. Cover the blood, for thus have I been commanded to testify to you and your children, together with all flesh, and suffer not the soul to be eaten with the flesh, that your blood, which is your life, may not be required at the hand of any flesh that sheds it on the earth. For the earth will not be clean from the blood which has been shed upon it, for only through the blood of him, the Messiah that shed it, will the earth be purified throughout all its generations. And now, my children, hearken. Work judgment and righteousness, that ye may be planted in righteousness over the face of the whole earth, and your glory lifted up before my Eloah, Yahuwah, who saved me from the waters of the flood. And behold, ye will go and build for yourselves cities, and plant in them all the plants that are upon the earth, and moreover all fruit-bearing trees. For these 3 years the fruit of everything that is eaten will not be gathered, and in the 4th year its fruit will be accounted holy, and they will offer the first fruits acceptable before the Most High Yahuwah our Eloah, who created the heavens and the earth and all things therein. Let them offer in abundance the first the wine and the oil as first fruits on the altar of Yahuwah, who receives it, and what is left, that the servants of the house of Yahuwah eat before the altar which receives it. And in the 5th year make ye the release, so that ye release it in righteousness and in uprightness, and ye shall be righteous, and all that you plant shall prosper. For thus did Enoch, the father of your father, commanded Methuselah his son, and Methuselah his son Lamech. And Lamech commanded me all the things which his father commanded him. And I also will give your commandments, my sons, as Enoch commanded his sons in the first Jubilee while still living. The 7th in his generation he commanded and testified to his sons and to his sons' sons until the day of his death. And that is the end of chapter 7 in the book of Jubilees, with precepts in Genesis to chapter 9 and chapter 10 in Genesis.